What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Top Visuals back with another video. So basically, to recap the week, so I didn't post a video all this week. Well, technically not really. So I did post within the 7 days of my last video, which I posted on Monday or Tuesday of last week, I believe. Or I think it was, so this week is still Saturday, so it was technically the beginning of this week. So that video was basically a workout video, and I had a video right previously from that, another track video. Go check those out. I'm gonna put both of those, one here and one there. I mean, if I don't put them both there, one of them is going to be here, but definitely check those out. I'm gonna put the thumbnails here. So basically this video is going to be another car video. If you can see from the title, I'm not trying to have the intro too long. Basically it's going to be another car video. I'm gonna sit in my car, talk to you guys about some stuff. Pretty much, long story short, it's going to be I'm going to talk about how to be a successful photographer. So I'm not saying this is like I'm saying I'm a big guy or I'm famous or anything like that. I'm still learning and getting knowledge from the things that I'm telling you guys. But you know, any other photographer, people who want to be successful in something, may use these tools to help them get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the tools I'm telling you guys, I'm going to use them every day or every time I, you know, practice my craft to get me bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is not boasting or anything. It's to help all of you out. I want to help everybody out. So if you're new, subscribe. If you old, like. If you're not new or old, comment. Do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna have the intro be too long. Check out my last videos. Stay through the whole video. That's it. All right, y'all. Peace out. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Since it's just the time with a kickstand, thinking of a plan to get quick bands.
All right, y'all. So for the first step, so I'm gonna do 5. So it's not really like a top 5 thing. It's just going over 5 key steps on like how to become a successful photographer, in the ways that I know and the ways I've seen other successful people. So I'll say the number one thing is know who you are. Find your personality. Know, you know, what makes you happy, what you want to do. So if you want to be a photographer or whatever you want to be, I'm gonna focus on the topic of photography, but if you want to be something else, this can also help you too. Basically focus on, you know, who you are. So me, for example, I like going out, I like being social, I like, you know, taking pictures out in the nature, you know, with the sun out. You know, I like using my creative mind. I'm really creative. That's why I actually like, you know, photography and making videos and stuff like that, because I can use my creative style, my creativity to do things that, you know, I don't see other people could do, or I can do that'll be better in my own style. So you want to find your style. Your style is very important because, you know, let's say if you create a social media platform, you don't want to be like everybody else. You know, you want to, and if you see something or an influencer you have that you want to be like them, do what they do, but better. Do it in your own way. So creativity is kind of like, you know, it ties into your personality, you know. So I'm super creative. I like going out and experimenting and seeing what my mind can do, you know, thinking in my head and putting it down on paper. So figuring out who you are and what you want to do is super important. That's the first step, in my opinion. All right, guys, second step. This second step is actually super important. So basically it's find your niche. So N-I-C-H-E, I believe that's how you spell it. So find your niche. So pretty much what niche means, and at first I had no idea what niche means. All of y'all probably like, yo, what does that mean? I never knew what it was until I looked it up and I did my research. So pretty much, long story short, what niche means is basically what do you want to do photography, right? Or whatever you want to do. Figure out what aspect or what exactly do you want to do in that field. So basically it's kind of like, okay, so I want to be a photographer. I got all these options, all these ideas. What do I want to focus on? What, you know, pick and choose. Okay, I'm gonna focus on this section, I'm gonna focus on that section. Now, as a photographer, you can do everything. You can take pictures of people, you know, do portraits. You can take pictures of toys, products like I do. You can take pictures of, you know, anything, landscape, whatever the case may be. Limit your ideas to one certain, you know, something that you want to do. So like I said, no one's forcing you to do anything. Just pick and try to focus on one thing, especially if you're starting out small. So like me, for example, I'm like, at first I was taking pictures of everything, people, landscape, toys, shoes. But I was like, let me kind of just, you know, lower my circle a little bit. I'm not limiting myself, I'm just lowering my ideas, trying to focus on one thing which will help you better. And then once you get that down pat and you get bigger, then you start experimenting and doing other things. But I say starting out, just get to find your niche. So my niche, for example, is I do, like, you know, product photography or tour photography. So I take pictures of not just toys, but, you know, like maybe shoes or just products, pretty much, stuff like that. And so basically, you know, once I, you know, become more successful and I'm, you know, my craft is really like, you know, hitting its peak, I'm doing really well, then I can start going into other things. I can start maybe, you know, doing portraits of people. I can start doing maybe landscapes. I can start maybe, you know, just doing certain types of photos, you know, so like widening my niche pretty much, if you want to categorize it like that, widening my ability pretty much. So I say when you, like me, a small person, start out with like one thing and then grasp into more things. Now for not step, but idea number 3, this kind of ties in a little bit with idea number 2. So pretty much it's, who do you want to attract? What people do you want to see your, you know, your items? What people you want to see your work pretty much. So when you're taking a picture of something, right, in your head, you want to, and let's say if you post it on Instagram, right, or whatever, YouTube, and, you know, you get your likes and everything, and you're thinking to your head, who do I want to see this photo? Who am I attracting? You know, if I'm attracting a younger audience, how do I do that? If I'm attracting an older audience, how would I do that? So you want to figure out, once you find your niche and who you are and what pictures you want to take of and how you want to do them, now you got to figure out who do you want to attract. For example, for me, so I'm gonna base all my ideas on me, just because I am, like, you know, small, you know, wannabe photographer. So I'm gonna base it off of myself so you guys can get an idea. So pretty much I'm doing like product and toy photography. So obviously once you hear the word toy, you're thinking of like, you know, children and stuff like that, but not necessarily, because you have a lot of toy makers, you have a lot of artists, you know, that are like middle-aged, 30, 20, that, you know, want to show off their work, and you have photographers that can do that. They get paid for. That's another way, you know, and that's not just for my thing. That's just giving you an example of, like, you know, just figure out who your pictures and what your work is bringing to. Who's your audience? Know your audience, you know. So for example, if I know that my audience is gonna bring in artists or children like that, then I'm gonna, you know, perfect it. Like, you know, every time when I take a picture, so I'm gonna think of those people, the people I'm trying to attract. So that's really, really important, because if you don't focus on who your audience is or who you're attracting, they might, you know, just fall off with you. They might not follow you, they might not like you, they might not want you. So just, you know, care for the people that, you know, want to see your work, because that's how you grow as well. Now, I've talked about this many times before. Idea number 4, I talked about this many times before, and it's basically being social. Now, I used to be super antisocial. I never really talked to people. I was always afraid to show my ideas and creativity because I didn't want people to judge me. But when you become a photographer, I'm not saying you got to be the most extrovert person out there, but you kind of got to, like, break out of that shell. Now, yeah, when you get older, you eventually do break out of that shell. But it's better to start sooner than later. So I've actually gotten much better with it. I've been more social. And the more social you are, the better your business will grow. Because if you're not social, your name's not going to get out there. And it's not going to hurt you, but it'll really better you if you do. So when I mean social, I mean, like, you know, start off on social media, you know, create a channel on YouTube, you know, do stuff that you know that will help you to create your business. Like I said, it doesn't just have to be photography, it can be anything, but you can use this, you know, as an idea for yourself. You're like, oh, if, you know, let me try this out, and if it doesn't work out, try something else. You know, it may not work out for you. And, you know, if things aren't going as well as you plan, just keep going through it. Especially as a small person, as a small business, nothing's gonna come within the first, like, nothing's even gonna come in the first probably few months. You got to keep grinding the whole way. But to tie back into the topic, being social is kind of just like getting your name out there, knowing your audience. All this kind of ties together. So you could look at it as a step-by-step process, because you do got to figure out who you are, find your niche. Once you find your niche, and then you got to figure out what people you want to attract, and just all that ties in. And then after you figure all that, then you got to, you know, better yourself. You know, you want to be, you know, social, get your name out there. It's super important. So yeah, if you are that antisocial person right now, I just say that try little things every day just to help you get better in that. Not to be so shy, pretty much. Now, because if you're taking a picture of people or something like that, and if you're, as the photographer, being shy, the person that you're taking a picture of might not feel comfortable. They might not want to work with you again. So it's super important to just make them feel comfortable. Talk to them, be social, you know, do what you gotta do. That's super important as a photographer, and making your person that you're taking a picture of feel really comfortable, depending on what you want to do. And so pretty much as the 5th step, I kind of just made this up on the spot, and I called it the 2 P's, so PP pretty much. And so the first P is practice. So obviously it doesn't matter what you do, you need to practice your craft, not every day, like overload yourself, but just, practice have on your free time, make time and practice your craft. And, on the side, like, after work or after school, just practice, practice. Because if you just go out and just do it every once in a while when you feel like it, you're not going to get better. You're just going to keep doing the same things. You got to practice it and keep practicing. And once you practice and realize what you have to work on, then you got to actually do it. Like if you mess up on something, it's okay to mess up. I always tell people mistakes are what makes you human, but they're not really mistakes unless you learn from them. So if you make a mistake and you don't learn from it, then that's bad. That's a bad mistake. But good mistakes to me is when you make a mistake and you learn from it. So if something doesn't go well, you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Well, now you know. So patience ties into there too, and that's the second P, is patience. So patience, it's practice and patience. So once you practice, then that's where it comes into patience, because you practice all this time and you work so hard and nothing's really going out for you. You got to have that motivation, and that's where patience comes in. Because when you're creating a business, all the successful people that you see that is rich and all this, everything that I'm telling you is what they did. They were patient. They practiced, they practiced their craft as they were younger, and start sooner. Like I said, start sooner than later. You don't want to start late. Now, if you start late, you still have a lot of time, but it's better to start sooner, while you're still young, so you can get the most amount of time as you can. So patience is super, super important, and make sure that while you're being patient, keep practicing, keep going the whole way. So that pretty much wraps up all the ideas I have. So out of my 5 ideas, I would say the most important one that I talked about in this video, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the last one, is patience. Because all my other ideas are like, or steps, they are super, super important, and definitely take those into consideration and write them down and, practice everything and go over it. But I say patience and practice, my 5th idea, are super, super important. Because you can do all those things I said 1 through 4, but if you don't have patience and practice, it's not gonna go anywhere. Now some people can get lucky and just blow off of what they do, and that's good for them. But the world doesn't really work like that. You gotta be patient. Your business might not take off for another year or 2. Like, that's just how life works. But you gotta be patient. So to wrap it up, I do hope all those ideas really helped y'all out. So believe it or not, I'm gonna have a video coming ready Monday or Tuesday of next week. Like, I'm getting back, into the consistency. I've been doing pretty good. I'm gonna still have those 2 videos per week. I'm not gonna spoil y'all or tell you what the video is. Yeah, y'all gonna have to look at it for yourselves. But yeah, let me know in the comments if this video helped you. If you're new, subscribe. If you're old, like. If you're not new or old, comment. Do what you gotta do. Check out the videos. I'm gonna put them in the description. Check my Instagram in the description. And that's it. I think that's it. All right, y'all. Peace out. Love y'all.
Since it's just the time with a kickstand.